name is Richard Turner. We're currently in one of my barns where we run our gallery business. This is Turner's Folly. It's a 00 gauge layout. There's no particular location to it. There's no particular era, because being able to show the public the advantage of DCC, the best way to do that is to be able to run all regions, any particular era, diesel, steam, rail cars, modern trains and so on. There are 7 of us. We're very fortunate in we have one electronics engineer who looks after all our sound and signalling. We have an electrician who connects a lot of the wires up. We have 2 guys who concentrate on the scenics, the landscaping and scenics, and a couple of us are the model makers. Back in 2009, when we started the layout, the initial size was 12 foot by 8. Today, it's 20 foot by 12 foot. And so it's organically grown to the size that it is today. The thing I like about model railways is the running of the trains and building models. I like to build the scenic type models, but I do have a number of Pico wagons which I have built as well. And the reason I like the Pico wagons and build those is that when I was ill, at about 8 years of age, my father bought me a Pico wagon to aid my recovery, and that was it. I was hooked. You will see the Folly, which is on top of the hill. After the tunnel, we come into a country area which has got a rundown church on it. We come round the corner where there's a major accident. Someone is receiving medical attention on the side of the road. There's an ambulance, and adjacent to that is the gorge and a bridge. The bridge itself is 4 feet long, and it's something that I made, but it's all made from plastic and not wood. But we believe it looks terribly effective.
My role within the layout is really sort of the scenics area. I do a bit of everything, get involved in everything I can, but really my role is sort of tying the scenics together, making it look as realistic as possible and believable for those people that are looking at it. As you can see here on the cinema, we've added some extra lighting with LEDs to try and make it look realistic. The scenics that we use, a lot of it is shop bought, a lot of it is bought second-hand stuff. We don't always just go for the manufactured stuff. We'll look at things not for what it is, for what it could be. Lots of the buildings, there's a mixture. There's Metcalf, there's wheels, there's plastic kits, but we'll try and add lighting to try and create a realistic effect. So around the corner by the church, we've got what we call a spotlight on the memorial. Other areas inside buildings, we've lit up certain floors. And again, in the farm, we've put lighting in there to make it look like it's being used and being lived in. But we're trying to, with the lighting, to try and bring it to life a bit. As opposed to just looking like a static model, we also have a phone box, we have fire engines with flashing lights to make it look realistic.
Following on from there, we run into the main line station. Through there to the farm. We proceed to the canal board, where we've got 3 or 4 narrow boats and a lock gate. From there we carry on to the inn. Coming round that corner, we see the whole of the industrial area, which includes a brewery, there's a disused warehouse, a halt, which is a terribly small station. I think my favourite part is the roundhouse, and that was built by one of the other model makers, but to me they are so prototypical.
We can take the lid off the roundhouse and show people inside. We're all about trying to interact with the public. We want them to realise that they can do this as well. It's not just for advanced modellers, anybody can have a go and anybody can try it.
Having increased the layout this year, we now have a fiddle yard in the centre, and the fiddle yard gives us connections to both the inside track, the outside track at both ends of the layout. Well, all the stock is a variety from the major manufacturers, Hornby, Bachmann. The rolling stock is different. We've got some very modern stuff with the containers. They're running mainly behind the diesels. The rest of the stock is aged, I suppose, but because there's no period for the layout, anything goes. To add to the variety and interest of the Folly, we can show different trains with coal, oil, empties and general freight. A lot of our engines have got sound on them. A number of them have got a automatic braking control system. A train approaching a red signal will stop automatically. Now, the signals are fully automatic, but I have to emphasise that this is not something that is a DCC product. It's something that our electronics expert has evolved. Unfortunately, we haven't all got braking, and one often sees some near misses, I will describe them as. From the adults who are particularly interested in model railways, they are very encouragingly amazed at what we've got on display.
When you go to a show and people are picking out little bits, look at that, look at this, can you see this, can you see that? It gives you a real sort of warm feeling and a big sense of pride inside, because you're doing this. To you, sometimes things seem standard, normal. To other people, it just blows them away. How did you do that? How did you do this? And we'll share our ideas. This hobby needs to be shared as much as possible so that we can engage younger, newer people into the hobby. But I really enjoy making things look real, even though obviously at the end of the day, it is a giant train set, it's a giant layout, but we want it to make it look as real and as realistic as possible.
Personally, my favourite one is Eddie Stobart, the Class 66 diesel. And I am a staunch steam man.